Hey guys, how's it going? So I know this is probably a really weird camera perspective for you guys, but because usually I record my videos from over there. So, and the reason why I couldn't do that today is because like when I did try to record over there, it proved to be way too dark because I get all my light source from the sun, and unfortunately today is a very cloudy day, so there's nothing really I can do about it. The weather happened. So yeah, so I decided to fix that problem by putting the camera over here. So I hope you guys are not too weirded out by the new camera perspective. And actually, if you guys really do like this new perspective, I'll be posting in the comment section down below, and I'll be sure to do more, of this, camera angle for my future Q&A videos. And yes, as I just said, this is a Q&A video. And the reason why I'm doing a Q&A video is because I just hit 1,000 subscribers. Wow, sometimes I can't even believe that I hit 1,000 subscribers. And, because of how niche my content is. And I really want to thank you guys for all the support you guys have been giving me. And I really hope to make more awesome content for you guys because, all the interactions that I have with you guys and all that means so much to me. And I just want to keep making you guys happy with all the content, stuff like that. So, with that being said, let's move on to the Q&A. Or actually, before that, one thing I want to say before starting the Q&A is that if you're one of the people that watches this video in the future and you happen to miss the opportunity to ask me a question, well, I'll tell you how the Q&As on this channel work so that you don't miss it the next time. So, what's happened is that 2 weeks before I upload this video, I made another video called a pre-Q&A. And in that pre-Q&A, you can basically ask me any questions in the comments section. You post your questions in the comments section and you can ask up to 3 questions. And you get an opportunity to do that about a week, essentially, from the time that I upload that pre-Q&A. And then what's going to happen is that once that week has passed, that's when I am going to stop answering questions from then on out. Because, obviously, I got to make this video so in order to respond to those questions. So that's why I plan to do so. And that's how I'm going to do Q&As on this channel. If any one of you guys, though, has like a better idea of how should I, do these Q&As to be more effective, because it kind of sucks, like waiting for 2 weeks in order for me to answer your questions. So if you guys have like a better idea of how to, do these Q&As and stuff, post it in the comment section down below because I'll be glad to listen and maybe we can change this Q&A for the better. So, let's start with the Q&A. So the way I'm going to do the Q&A is that the way I'm going to answer everybody's questions is that I'm going to do it alphabetically. So for example, so obviously A is first, Z is last, starting with the first letter of your username. And a specific rule that applies is that if your name has the word "the" in there, it does not go into the T section. So here's an example. So if you got like a username by the name of The John Doe. I know that's a crappy example, but it illustrates my point. If you got the name The John Doe, you would not be put under T. You will be put under J because of, John. So yeah, I hope that makes sense to you guys. And let's get started. So the first person I'll be answering the questions of is a user who goes by the name of Aidan Hitchcock. And his questions are: what is your favorite game console besides the Dreamcast? And what is your favorite and least favorite game on the Dreamcast? Well, okay, so if you guys have been to this channel any length of time, you would know that I absolutely love the Dreamcast. There are 2 other consoles that I love as well, though, too. And they are the PS3 and the Sega Genesis. I absolutely love the PS3, especially the fat model, not the slim model or any of that. Because the fat model is capable of playing PS2 and PS1 games as well, which is awesome. The unfortunate thing is about those particular models is that they tend to break easily, and unfortunately that's the case with mine. Mine has the red light of death, which sucks, but I hope to maybe fix it sometime in the future. So the other one is the Sega Genesis. The Sega Genesis is an awesome console. I love the action platformers that are on it and all that stuff. They're so fun. I love the Konami games that are on it. What is there not to love about stuff like Rocket Knight Adventures and, Contra Hardcore? Those games are awesome. And, you know, of course, Sega made awesome titles for it. Of course, there's Sonic. But you also got stuff like Streets of Rage, Comic Zone, Vector Man, Golden Axe. There's so many other titles that I could list on forever for the Genesis, and that's why it's awesome. The thing is, though, I would probably put the Super Nintendo along, you know, with the Sega Genesis as well. The only problem is, I don't have a Super Nintendo. The Super Nintendo, I find, is a very expensive system to get, and it's also an expensive system to collect for, which is a bummer because I'm not the richest guy in the world. But I do know that if I happen to own a Super Nintendo, I would love it as much as the Sega Genesis. But to basically rehash, as of right now, my other two favorite consoles that I love, other than the Dreamcast, is the PS3 and the Sega Genesis. So, my favorite and least favorite game on the Dreamcast. Okay, so I have a lot of favorite games on the Dreamcast, and it was a really tough pick for me to pick these games out. But these games have a little edge that, you know, like, and the little edge is simply that I have an emotional connection with these games that I have than others and stuff like that. So, yeah, so let me show you what is my favorite games on the Dreamcast. So, it's a weird thing because my favorites are 2 game series and 1 game. So I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. So, I love Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2. Awesome, awesome games. I also love, let me get it out for a second, Tokyo Extreme Racer 1 and 2. I don't have the second one with me as of yet, but I did manage to play it back in the day, and I thought it was awesome. I love these games. And also, last but not least, Rayman 2. This game is interesting with me because this is the very first game that I ever loved. The very first game that I ever loved, and that's why it's very deserving to be on this list. But yeah, those are essentially my favorite games on the Dreamcast. Again, there's like, or I shouldn't say again, but okay, so there are a couple of Dreamcast games, many of them that I love, you know, like Power Stone 2, you know, Marvel vs. Capcom, it's just some to name it off, but they just don't have that edge in order to make it into my list. So yeah, that's why I specifically chose these games. So, my least favorite game of the Dreamcast? Okay. So I have a lot of Dreamcast games. Way too many. Way too many to count. The thing is, though, you know, I love most of them. There is only one game on the system that I absolutely do not like. And I have it right here. That is Slave... I hope the camera gets... Yeah, there you go. Slave Zero. Yeah, I do not like this game, especially when I first picked it up. Maybe I had a bad day or something, but what I do remember is that when I first played this game, you know, I thought it was the most boring thing ever. Like, I played it for like 3 minutes, and then I just you know, took the disc out of the, you know, the Dreamcast and just popped in another game because I was so bored with this game. You know, as I said, it's probably I had a bad day. Maybe I should replay this game in the future to give a, you know, more interesting perspective of this game, but as of right now, I do not like this game. This is the only game in my Dreamcast collection that I do not like. So, the next person that I'm going to be answering the question of goes by the name of Banana Pie 761. And his questions are, what makes you enjoy the Dreamcast so much? Do you prefer Sonic Adventure 1 or 2? The reason why I love the Dreamcast so much is because of many reasons. For example, it had online capabilities right out of the box. And, you know, you can actually still play many of those games online today, which is pretty cool. And people are doing a lot of work for, like, games that are unable to get online because their servers are gone. They're trying to reset up servers so that we can play these games online again, which is awesome. I love the games on the system. There's a lot of great arcade ports and stuff like that. And, you know, of course, I mentioned, like, these games. These games, I don't know how well you can see. Basically, it's Shenmue 1, 2, Tokyo Extreme Racer 1 and 2, I don't know how I mispronounced that, and Rayman 2. And these games right there are also included in my favorite games of all time list. So, yeah, I love the games that are on the Dreamcast. And what else was I getting? Oh, and on top of that, because the Dreamcast is so easy to program for, there are still new Dreamcast games that are coming out, and that is awesome. The peripherals that came out for the Dreamcast, and last but not least, I probably would say definitely the VGA output of the Dreamcast, because it puts out, the Dreamcast puts out a really clean signal. I mean, really clean. I mean, I plugged the Dreamcast into my 4K TV and wow, it still looks good on it. It does not look out of date. I mean, maybe the graphics are, but like the picture clarity, no, it's not. You know, so that's why I absolutely love the Dreamcast, and for the online gameplay, great games, peripherals, and the picture quality. That's why I like the Dreamcast. I'm sure there's more reasons that I like it for, but I just can't remember off the top of my head. So yeah, those are the reasons why I like the Dreamcast. So the next person that I'm going to be answering the question of is Dante Law. And his questions are, what are your favorite Dreamcast games to play? What would be the next Dreamcast review be about? And what would be the next playthrough you do next or plan to do? Will you finish Slide 2? Okay. So, and then he goes on saying that he's sorry for a fourth question, which, by the way, Dante, that's absolutely fine. I just let it go this one time. And mainly that's because your last two questions, they're like so similar. They like go in like tandem with each other. So that's why I will let it go just this one time. So, what are your favorite Dreamcast games to play? Well, my favorite Dreamcast games to play, I don't know if you saw earlier in the video, Dante, but I did show them off. But that's no problem, because I'll gladly show it off again, because, you know, that's how much I love these games. They're awesome, and they deserve to be, you know, shown to everybody. So, so a couple of the games that I like is Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2. Now, I don't know if you... Yeah, okay, yeah, it's weird, because, like, as I'm looking at it, there's, like, a glare on the cover and stuff like that, but on the camera it's fine. So, yeah, anyways, Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2. I absolutely love these games. Another series that I love on the Dreamcast is Tokyo Extreme Racer. Just making sure if it's... Yeah, okay. Tokyo Extreme Racer. I also love the second one. I unfortunately don't have it with me, but I did manage to play it when I was younger, and I really did enjoy it. So, yeah, I absolutely love Tokyo Extreme Racer 1 and 2. And also, I love this game, Rayman 2. For just in case if you didn't like watch the earlier part of this video, but this is my very first video game that I ever loved. That is why this game absolutely has to make it onto my list. I have so much nostalgia about this game, and it's absolutely a great game too. So yeah, those are basically my favorite Dreamcast games. There are a lot of others, but they just they're like this close, but they didn't quite make it onto my list. But yeah, those are my absolute favorites. What will your next Dreamcast review be about? Okay, I kind of want to leave this off as a surprise, but I'll give you a couple of hints. Okay, so to explain it, I know this part may seem irrelevant, but trust me, it will make sense in a little bit. So after this video, I'm going to do a video about the Sega Dreamcast birthday, because believe it or not, the Dreamcast is about to turn 18, which is awesome, and that video is going to be more like a celebration more than a review. But the point is that after that video, it is going to be a review, and it's, what should I say? Because I don't want to give you too much hints. Okay, I know how to say. Okay, so the only hint I'll give you about that review is that it's going to be about the Sega Dreamcast VMU. That's all I could say. It's basically a peripheral for the Sega Dreamcast VMU. I know, that's weird, right? A peripheral for a peripheral. Peripheralception. I'm sorry for that really bad joke, but no, but seriously, yes, it is a peripheral for the Sega Dreamcast VMU, and unfortunately, that's all I can say about it. So the last question that you ask is, you know, like, will I be doing playthroughs, and will I finish Slide 2? It really breaks my heart to tell you this, Dante, but I don't think I will be doing playthroughs for a while. And yeah, it really breaks my heart because you are so awesome, Dante. I mean, like, I know that you really love my playthroughs, because like on every single one of them you have commented on it, you have left behind a like and stuff like that. And it was so much fun talking to you in those comment section. But the thing is though, is that Dante, I cannot do it as much as I used to. And the reason is because it's mainly due to time. For example, you know, like, obviously I'm in college, so obviously doing this one video every 2 weeks thing is already very gruesome for me. And, you know, if I were to do it like I did before, which was like one video per week, it would be twice as grueling. So I don't think there's no way I can handle that, because each one of those videos is they took a long time to make. They took a long time to record and stuff as well. And it actually drained a lot of energy from me. So when I was done with it, I had no more energy to study with. So that kind of sucked. And, you know, and also that one video every 2 weeks thing, not only was it very grueling for me, it's actually not as good as most commentators do, because most people usually do 2 to 3 videos a week. The reason they do that is so that they can easily get a video game just like done, just like that. I don't have that flexibility. So what would happen is that if I were to make a playthrough of a very long game, sometimes it might take me up to 6 months to a year in order to complete it, which I think that's way too long, you know? So, you know, that's why I decided not to do playthroughs anymore. I'm sorry to say this, Dante. Well, okay, I won't be doing playthroughs at the moment. I might do some in the future. I might do some, like, of the stuff like the typing of the dead, you know, some unique things like House of the Dead 2, where I would be like shooting zombies with the light gun. You would see a face cam of me shooting them, and for Typing Dead you would see me typing and all that. And also I might do one of like Seaman, which is like a game you talk to a fish. I might do that one as well. And will you finish Light 2? Maybe as well too, because you know, I don't like leaving things undone. You know, I like to get them finished. But the problem is with that is that when I last left it off, it's like it was a couple videos already, and I was only halfway done with that game. So obviously, you know, it would take me quite some time to finish it as well. So we will see. So I really hope this answered all of your questions, Dante. Thank you so much for being supportive to my channel, and it was so awesome talking to you, and it was really fun answering your questions. So the next person that I'm going to be answering the questions of is GD Min3rl3g4nd Gaming. I'm sorry, I do not know how to pronounce your name, dude. I'm very sorry about that. But anyways, the question that she asked is, are you able to stream? Do you have Sonic Mania? And what is your favorite Dreamcast game ever? Well, am I able to do a stream? Yes, it would be awesome if I could. But the thing is, I don't have a webcam. I know it sucks. But the thing is too is that if I were to do a web stream, I would have to allocate a specific time of my day in order to basically respond, you know, to all your questions and stuff like that. And frankly, I don't have that time. I mean, like, yeah. So that's unfortunate. I can't do a stream at the moment, unfortunately. Maybe I might consider doing in the future, but we'll see. Do I have Sonic Mania? No, I don't. But I actually do have some like cool merchandise from Sonic Mania that's coming in pretty soon, and I would definitely love to make a video about that. So yeah, so I don't have Sonic Mania, but I do have one of its merchandise for it. What is my favorite Dreamcast game ever? I don't know if you've seen this earlier, but I love Shenmue 1, Shenmue 2, let me see here, Tokyo Extreme Racer 1 and 2. I'm missing it because, you know, I played it back in the day, but I haven't been able to buy it myself yet. And last but not least, Rayman 2. Yeah, that's basically all my favorite games on the Dreamcast. So I hope this answered all your questions. So the next person that I'm going to be answering the question of is Mirage Intus Mori, and he asked, what is my favorite music artist? What is a better fighter on the Dreamcast? And favorite video game character in general? Ooh, favorite music artist? Oh, this one's tough. Because I love a lot of music. I've been listening to a lot of records lately, and man, there are so many good artists out there that I love. Oh, you know, stuff like Pink Floyd, you know, Madonna. You know, I love Michael Jackson. That was my original favorite artist, but I don't think he's my favorite anymore now. What? Boston. Yeah, I would have to choose Boston as my favorite music artist at the moment, because, you know, of course, people's tastes change. And actually, I am such a big Boston fan that I have, well, I don't know if you can get this in the camera and stuff like that, but wow, this is, yeah, if you know anything about records, they're huge. I have like 3 of their most famous albums. I have their original Boston album. Dang, I don't know how you can see. Yeah, there you go. And their Don't Look Back, and their Third Stage album. So yeah, that's how much I love Boston. And yeah, Boston, I really love them. Better fighter on the Dreamcast, Power Stone. I would absolutely recommend Power Stone. I love Power Stone. Dead or Alive 2. I would love... Oh, there's so many of them, though. But these are the ones that I have experience with. Dead or Alive 2. Soul Calibur. The legendary Soul Calibur. That's an absolutely must-get game. Marvel vs. Capcom, Fatal Fury, Mark of the Wolves. And these are all the ones that I have. There are so many of them out there. But some of the ones that I would definitely love to recommend... Oh, did I say Power Stone 2? That's also a great one. Some of the ones that I would recommend also that I don't have is Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That's absolutely legendary. And I don't know if you would consider these fighting games, but technically Capcom would. Oh, I have Project Justice. I almost forgot about that. Project Justice is a great game. I like it. Is it worth the price? I don't know. I leave that up to you, but I think Project Justice is pretty good. There are just so many great fighting games out there. Honestly, I would say that most of the fighting games on the Dreamcast are awesome. So definitely try to find any fighting game on the Dreamcast and pick it up. If you can get it for a reasonable price, because they're very sought after. Favorite video game character in general? Not Sonic and Mario. I mean, I like them, but not that much. Who would I pick? Sora from Kingdom Hearts. I really like Sora's character in Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, that would be definitely my favorite video game character in general. So yeah, I hope that answers all your questions. So the next person that I'm going to discuss about is somebody named Mr. Cheefah. And his two questions are, do you think the Dreamcast was way ahead of its time? And how many Dreamcast games do I own? Oh, this is fun. So is the Dreamcast ahead of its time? Absolutely yes. In my definitions, yeah, it was. In fact, I think it basically pioneered the way that most consoles turn out nowadays. In fact, what made it so much more awesome and much more enjoyable is that, you know, all these innovations, you would typically see it from Sony and Microsoft, but no, this was a gaming company that was behind it. Sega, you know? So not only did you get all those, you know, innovations to prove gaming, you also got amazing titles from Sega as well. So that's why I definitely would recommend the Dreamcast. Definitely say that the Dreamcast is ahead of its time. And I think that's why people are very into the Dreamcast now, because of how well it aged. So yeah, so definitely Dreamcast is way ahead of its time. And how many Dreamcast games do I own? As I said before, I have way too much. I have 117 unique Dreamcast titles. Yeah, that's a lot, but you know, but technically that does pale in comparison. I can't believe I'm saying this, because you know, I'm the type of person that's very happy about every single game that I own. But that 117 games for the Dreamcast pales in comparison to how many games that are actually on the system, because there are actually like almost 700 games for the system, and plus there are always new ones being released every day. So yeah, I have 117 games, and they're all pretty awesome, except for Slave Zero. This abomination, I think, stinks. So the next person that I'm going to be answering the question of, it goes by the name of Official mariotoast. And his question is, what is my favorite Spider-Man game? Well, my favorite Spider-Man game is actually two games. And, okay, so the first one I'm going to show is technically not a Spider-Man game, but I always play as him in this game. So that's why it's going to be here. So one of my favorite Spider-Man games is Marvel Ultimate Alliance. This game is awesome. Really awesome. It's like you get to play as all these Marvel character superheroes in like a beat 'em up fashion, and I think you can actually play as 4 players in this game, which I never got a chance to do that, but I'm sure this game would be so awesome if I could. But the point is, as I said before, I always play Spider-Man in this game because like he's awesome. Like he's a very fun character to play as, and that's why this game makes it onto my list. But so the other Spider-Man game that I liked, and this is definitely a Spider-Man game, and that is Spider-Man for the Sega Dreamcast and the PS1. I don't have it with me, which is very unfortunate, but I did get a chance to play it when I was younger, way younger. And if you watched earlier in this video, Mario Toast, you would have seen that I talked about Rayman 2 as my favorite, the very first game that I ever loved on anything. One of the very first games that I ever loved. Spider-Man on the Dreamcast was the second game that I ever loved. And, you know, that game is so awesome. I have fond memories of that. And I wasn't very good at that game. It was kind of laughable because, like, you know, remember the beginning? If you ever seen that game, there's like a beginning stage where like you're on a building and like there's like a green shroud that uncovers like all the building and stuff like that. When I was younger, I would just always just jump off the building into the green shroud and watch Spider-Man die. I know that's awful, but I actually really like genuinely liked that when I was a kid, and I just kept doing it over and over again. I'm sure, you know, now that if I ever get the game again, I'm sure I wouldn't do that. But no, but I definitely had fond memories of Spider-Man for the Dreamcast and the PS1. So the next person I'm going to answer the questions of is from Poke14478. And his questions are, is it your dream for the Dreamcast 2 to exist? What is your favorite game of all time? And why is the Dreamcast so awesome? Well, okay, so is it my dream for the Dreamcast 2 to exist? Absolutely. But I don't think it's going to happen. And, you know, you guys might think like, oh, but you heard that from Alpha Omega Sin or Adam Korlick or whatever. But no, honestly, I came from my own judgment that it's not going to really happen, at least not in a long time. The reason is because after the Dreamcast died, Sega was very bankrupt. And what happened is that they merged with the Sammy Corporation. I think in reality, though, they got bought out by the Sammy Corporation. And what happened is that the Sammy Corporation is all about, you know, pachinko machines and all that. And actually, if you look it up nowadays, Sega, or should we call it Sega Sammy, 90% of their profits comes from their pachinko machines. So obviously that's their focus. They're not into gaming anymore. Heck, they're not even good at making their flagship title, Sonic the Hedgehog, a great game anymore. Sonic Mania is great, but I don't know how Sonic Forces is coming out. And of course, you know, we got a lot of bad games from them, you know, like after that merging. For example, Shadow the Hedgehog in Sonic 06. So if they can't even do that right, I mean, like, this is very sad too, because Sega, you know, has so many great franchises, but now they're all just sitting there and collecting dust. And you know, if they can't even get Sonic right, I don't think they can even get those other franchises right too, which makes me really sad. And you know, so if the Dreamcast 2 was going to happen, what I think will happen before that is that they're going to make Sonic great again. They start working on like their old franchises, their old IPs, and make great ones. And then that's when I would consider the possibility of a Dreamcast 2 to happen. I haven't seen that yet. Hopefully that might happen in the future because I would love to have a Dreamcast 2, but as of right now, I don't see it happening. So my favorite game of all time, that is so hard. I did already mention in this video that you know, my favorite Dreamcast games are essentially part of my favorite games of all times list. And I have a lot more that I love all across systems and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is basically show you guys off some of my favorite games from all systems across. And like all these games are like tied with each other. I love these games as much as the other. So the first ones I'll mention is for the Genesis, and that is Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I can't fit the cartridge on this hand. That'd be awesome if I could. I wish I had a third hand. No, that actually would be weird. Never mind. I love Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Rocket Knight Adventures. Absolutely love these games for the Genesis. I love Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. Absolutely love these games. These games are great. Of course, let's talk about the Sega Dreamcast. Whoa, so many games to handle here. I love Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2. I love Tokyo Extreme Racer. I don't have the second one with me, but I do have the first one. I love that one. And Rayman 2, the very first video game that I ever loved. And then I'm going to move on to the PC section. I love, well, this is Red Strike, but technically it's a compilation of Red Alert 2 and Yuri Strike. I love both of these games as much as, you know, like the same amount. Pretty much similar to how much I love Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2. Another game that I don't have it with me. I used to have a pirated copy of it. It's weird. But the other game that I loved for PC was Roller Coaster Tycoon. Absolutely fantastic game. I spent so many hours on it. And then, last but not least, ironically, this is for a system I really don't like. I don't like the Wii, but I absolutely love this game. I love Super Mario Galaxy. This is a phenomenal game. This is an absolutely must-get if you have the Wii. So, yeah, those are all those games I just listed are tied with each other for my favorite games of all time. Yeah, see, because I'm not really much of a chooser. I just like I just like everything. You know, I just have a very wide taste. That's just the way I am. Why is the Dreamcast so awesome? Well, I think I must have mentioned it before, and that is, I think the Dreamcast was very ahead of its time. It really pioneered for the way that consoles are nowadays, in that it came right out of the box with online capabilities, but it also came with like all these games and stuff like that, and you could play online with them, as obviously you can. And, it really pioneered for what other consoles are going to do. I mean, of course, I just said before with online gaming, we see that now, hardcore supported by the likes of Microsoft and Sony. The thing is, though, Sega did it too. And Sega was a gaming company. So they really knew how to take advantage of those online components and stuff like that. And actually, I played some of those online games on the Dreamcast before, and they're very well optimized for that 56K modem. It's pretty awesome. So that's why the Dreamcast is definitely awesome. It's way advanced, and it has a lot of amazing games, peripherals, and all that stuff to boot. And it also has new games that are coming out for it, which is sweetens the deal. So the next person that I'm going to answer the questions of comes from TheRedMelox. And his questions are you Asian? Why inspire you to make a YouTube channel? Will you do reviews on other stuff besides Dreamcast? So, yes, I am Asian. Now, typically, I like to classify myself as an American, because, yay, go USA! But, no, my heritage is from Asia. And more specifically, I am Vietnamese. So, yeah, I hope that answers your questions fully. And what inspired you to make a YouTube channel? What inspired me to make a YouTube channel is that, okay, so I'm specifically about the Dreamcast. And there's a very specific reason why. It is really the main reason why I made the YouTube channel. Because there are a lot of Dreamcast YouTubers now. But back when I first started, like 2-3 years ago, there was only really one. And his name was Adam Koralik. And he's awesome. He's definitely a YouTuber you should check if you don't know who he is. But no, Adam Koralik was really the only one. And I thought to myself, for a system this awesome, why on earth is there only one YouTuber covering the Dreamcast? So I decided to toss my head into the ring and get started on talking about the Sega Dreamcast. So yeah, that's why I was inspired to do make a YouTube channel to talk all about the Sega Dreamcast, which probably will help you help answer your next question, which is, will you do reviews on other stuff besides Dreamcast? And despite how I said this is basically mainly a Dreamcast channel, I might do other stuff besides the Dreamcast. For example, a couple months ago, yeah, sorry, I just had a brain fart right there. A couple months ago, I talked about my roller coaster model. And, and actually I've been doing some work on that particular model, and I might make a video about it very soon. So yeah, so that's definitely one thing I will talk about. And another thing is that, as I showed earlier in this video, I just showed off my Boston records. And I love records, I definitely would like to talk to them. And I will be showing off some very special vinyl that I've been getting very recently, and they're very great. The records, I'm not even going to spoil it for you, but just know that I'm going to cover stuff like records, roller coasters, Dreamcast, and maybe other consoles as well. So yes, I will be doing covering stuff other than the Sega Dreamcast. So the next person I'm going to answer the question of is RYR991999, and he asks, will you ever do Let's Plays on Sega Saturn and other Nintendo consoles? What made you think of the name Saiga GeneCast? And will you subscribe to my channel? Okay, so will I ever do Let's Plays on Sega Saturn and Nintendo consoles? The thing is, though, I actually don't own a Sega Saturn. I know, being the Master Sega fan, that's pretty messed up. But yeah, I don't have a Sega Saturn. And Nintendo consoles. The thing is, though, is that this channel, I don't know if you heard my other response earlier, but I made this channel specifically for the Dreamcast. and I probably mostly cater towards most of my videos about the Sega Dreamcast. But to answer your question fully is that I might do some videos about Nintendo consoles and the Sega Saturn in the future. It just really depends. What made me think of the name Saiga GeneCast? Okay, that's a good question. Because how I came up with that name is actually, the name is actually a combination of my two favorite consoles ever. The Sega Dreamcast and the Sega Genesis. And now that I said it, now you can kind of picture it. I mean, like, the Gena from GeneCast comes from Genesis, and the cast came from Dreamcast, obviously. And obviously Sega is not spelled like Sega because I didn't want to get in trouble with Sega, so I decided to do another type of spelling. You know, I named that Sega after the Sega shotgun. So that's how I came up with the name Saiga GeneCast. Will you subscribe to my channel? Only if it's good. I'm sorry for such a blunt answer, but no, seriously. Whenever I have people ask this question, I usually would just like check the channel, and if it's good, yes. If it's not, I won't subscribe. But what I'm saying is that I'm going to check out your channel later, man, and if I think it's good, I will definitely subscribe, and we'll see. So the last but not least person I would like to talk about in this video is VinnytotheK. And yeah, I'm really happy for this guy because he just hit 1,000 subscribers as well. Congratulations, man. I'm really happy for you because, you know, like, I myself understand how hard it took in order to get 1,000 subscribers, so I'm really happy that you got that amount. And your question is, if Sega made a Dreamcast 2, what sequels would you like to see? I would actually like to see a lot, man. I mean, for starters, Sonic Adventure 3. Let's start off with that. Rayman. I know Rayman's been getting stuff like Rayman Legends and all that, but I want a super hardcore 3D Rayman game again. That would be pretty awesome. Of course, there is Shenmue 3, and I know that's not going to come out on Dreamcast 2, but it would be great if we did get a port of, you know, Shenmue 3 on a Dreamcast 2, which would be awesome. And those are just some of those that I can think off the top of my head. Again, there's many. Oh yes, Power Stone 3. I would love a Power Stone 3 so freaking bad. I would love it. Oh man, many of the Capcom fighting games, I would definitely love to see a sequel to those as well. You know, stuff like, I don't know, Rival Schools 3. There was Project Justice, but I would count that as Rival Schools 2, so that's why I want a Rival Schools 3. And just many others, man. There's so many, I just can't think off the top of my head, but there are so many sequels that I love to see on a Dreamcast 2, which unfortunately I don't think a Dreamcast 2 will ever happen, very sadly. But it is what it is. So that basically concludes my Q&A, and I'm really happy to answer all of your questions, guys. The support you guys have been giving me, and and what's good is, thank goodness none of you guys ask like crazy type of questions, like very rude. Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, there is no such thing as a stupid question, but there is a thing called rude comments and questions, and I'm very happy that you guys didn't do that. And hopefully, like, in future Q&As, I don't see any of that. So I really want to be thankful for you guys for keeping it very civilized and being very polite in the comment section. And I want to thank you guys for all the support you guys have been giving me. And to end this video, I just want to say that, like, I never really explained why getting 1,000 subscribers meant so much to me. And the reason why it means so much to me is because, you know, I used to own another YouTube channel before this one, and it's called DoomGuy1998. And in that one, like, I remember being so happy by just getting 1 subscriber on it. And, you know, the most amount of subscribers I ever got on that channel was like 24 subscribers. It is so amazing that, you know, like, I made this YouTube channel and I've come way farther than I ever done with DoomGuy1998, and it makes me so happy that I got this far. And I really want to thank you, all the support you guys have been giving me, because honestly, without you guys, this channel would be nothing. You know, I'd just be some other random guy on the internet. But because, you know, that I see you guys are subscribing and liking my content, it shows that my work on YouTube really matters. So I want to thank you guys for that. So, with that being said, my name is Michael. This is the Sega GeneCast. I want to thank you. I want to thank you guys so much for giving me the opportunity to do this Q&A with you guys. And I think I want to conclude this video with the usual, may the dream be with you. I hope that finger's pointing right. Yeah, I hope so. May the dream be with you guys.